Yo, okay, so today we're gonna have a look at the Men Should Weep extract. This has been requested by a few people, so just gonna go ahead and break this down for you. So just go ahead, take your jotter out and just make your heading Men Should Weep. So we're gonna look at the extract, and we are also going to look at the 10-mark question. Okay, so to begin with, what I have is, if you've seen the other videos, then you'll understand. So what I have basically is I've got the extract broken up. Yellow means a quote that you can take and sort of memorize or learn to use. And then the blue is just basically the overall heading. Excuse me. Now what I'll do is I'll put the link for this document in the comments. So I'll pin it, yeah, so you can use this document to prepare. You can share it with your friends and all that too, yeah, no problem. Okay, so to begin with, the first little section, okay, basically talks about, so the first little section basically tells us about how the family is going through the theme of hardship, or the main theme of poverty. It tells us that the family has a lot of basically like different traumatic issues going on, primarily related to the effects of not having a lot of money, basically, yeah. So very simply, when we see this, is you can see that one of the kids, Bertie, has been put in the hospital due to developing some kind of sickness, some kind of cough, because of the living conditions, yeah, because the house isn't ideal. So he gets sick, he gets put into hospital. Okay, so there's the theme of poverty. So you can use this for the theme of poverty. Obviously, very simply, you can use the word hospital, word choice of hospital. So you can take that, yeah, okay. Excuse me. Now, in addition to this, we also see the theme of poverty with the fact that they can't afford to buy a Christmas tree, not even a small one. So Lily says, I wish I could have bought a tree. So it shows they can't afford to buy simple things like a Christmas tree. So again, you could do a simple word choice there. Take the word bought, or you could take the word we. Both of those connotations. Bought obviously is to do with money. They don't have much money. We is just small. So even something small, something which might not be too expensive to other people, they can't afford it, yeah? So theme of poverty. Okay, so everything here is theme of poverty. Okay, then here, the other sort of main kind of idea in this part is going to be sort of Maggie's hopefulness, or what you could say is her her hopefulness, which goes too far, yeah? The sort of, I don't want to say toxic hopefulness, but in a sense, toxic hopefulness, yeah? So she's too hopeful for her own good, yeah? Which is partly the reason why she gets taken advantage of by everyone in the house, especially the men in the story. So she gets taken advantage of by them, by her children, because she is hopeful that they'll change, or she's hopeful that things will change by themselves, yeah, which of course they won't, yeah. So you could take for Maggie, so it shouldn't be long, basically, it shouldn't be long. It shouldn't be long just shows her hope. So you could take sentence structure, and you could take the full stop, indicating certainty. She's definitely sure that it's not going to be long before her kid comes back to the house, so she's hopeful. And then the other option would be this here, which is also sentence structure, which again shows that she is completely hopeful and she's got no sort of doubt. So the exclamation mark indicating, sorry, yeah, the exclamation mark indicating that she's shouting and she's annoyed that the question was even asked about, will this kid come back home? She's certain that he's going to come home and she won't hear any other opinion, yeah. Even though there's no good evidence for him, there's no good evidence that he will come home, and also and there's no sort of reason that he should come home, because the house is still going to be not good for his health, yeah. So basic two themes: theme of poverty, number two, idea of Maggie's hope, and in a sense her hope that hurts her. You can think about it that way, yeah. Okay, good. Next we have the relationship between Maggie and Alec. Okay, another thing that I should put here is going to be about how the relationship between men and women in general in this play. So relationship. What you should be doing is you should be writing down at least one or two quotes from each of these sections, and also I'd recommend you write down the heading for each of these between men and women. Excuse me. Oh, actually, I've got it at the end, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I've got something similar to the end. Okay, but anyway, so it's about what you see is the relationship between Maggie and Alex. So Maggie is Alex's mum, all right? And you see that the way that he disrespects her. You see the way that he essentially doesn't treat her as he should, and he kind of uses her. And moreover, he basically he in a way he imitates his father, who also acts basically taking advantage of Maggie without providing any kind of help or any kind of sort of like any like fulfillment of what he's supposed to be doing. Yeah. So basically, he acts like the big man without doing what the big man's supposed to do. Yeah, just to make it simple. Okay, so what you see, and also you see how Maggie again spoils her children. So she loves her children to a fault, and you see how she spoils them. So you see what you see here is Maggie says to Alec, "Are you not going to eat your food? You're not going to drink your tea." Basically, she's looking after him. He's a grown man, so she's looking after him. And then he replies by saying, "If that will shut you up, yeah." So clear word choice, tells his mom to shut up, basically. Clear disrespect. And then he goes on to be super sexist, use women with an exclamation mark at the end. Super, super sexist. Yep, 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 yep. All day, yeah. So, so basically what you see here, so what you see again, like I said, the theme of the mistreatment of women, you could say it that way, or the theme of what you could say is like flawed men, yeah, and men in quotation marks, yeah, flawed men. Basically, and this is the same with John, the main character in the play, who basically acts the same way. He wants to be the leader, wants to be the man of the house, but he doesn't do any of the things that are required to sort of take that role. He wants the credit and the power without the work, yeah, basically. Okay, so again, what you see, takes a hunk of cake, so it means he takes a lot, yeah, so he's greedy, and he don't have too much, but he takes a lot for himself, he's greedy. And then also what I've done is I've like cut out parts of this little section. I've cut out parts that are not really too important. So what you also see is he glowers at his mum, meaning he gives her like an angry look. He gives her like a scary look, a dirty look, that kind of thing. And she basically doesn't check him. She doesn't tell him off or anything. She just she just backs away. Yeah, basically. Okay, and then it ends again showing the sort of theme of what do you call it, mistreatment of women, or the flawed men, or the relationship between men and women. So he mistreats her, and then she runs after him, and he just basically ignores her and walks away. Yeah. So again, sort of main theme in this little section, it's going to be about the broken relationships between men and women, or the mistreatment of women, or the relationship between Maggie and Alec. So all of that's here, yeah, basically. All that's here. Okay. Okay. So next. Excuse me. Next, you have the description of Jenny. So Jenny is the only character in the play who essentially takes a different view. So generally speaking, in the play, you have the main characters, especially the male characters, who take the view of making excuses for why they're not successful, why they're still poor, yeah. And we'll see this when we get to the 10 marker. I'll go into sort of more detail of sort of the key kind of themes of the play. I just want to get through the extract first of all, but just to make it simple. So you have Jenny who, you have the main characters. Essentially, they make a lot of excuses about why they're broke, about why they're poor. They blame everyone else. Excuse me. They act rude while at the same time playing the victim card, and they live off of Maggie's work, essentially. They all basically are dependent on Maggie. They live off of her work, and at the same time, they make excuses for why they are failing, yeah, basically. Okay, now Jenny is the only character who doesn't do this, or the main character, I should say, who doesn't do this. So she thinks differently. She instead leaves the house and she tries to make something out of herself. And the other characters judge her for it. Yeah, so she gets kicked out of the house. Well, she leaves the house, and her family start to not like her, etc., etc. We'll get to this more in detail in a minute. Yeah. Okay, but this little extract part is part of the extract. It shows the other woman like judging her, basically. Yeah, judging her for her decision to leave. Yeah, to leave the house. Okay, so they start talking about her, and then what happens is Mrs. Wilson. So they say, I saw. So Mrs. Bone says, I saw Jenny, and then Mrs. Wilson says, did you see her basically with a man? And you can use sentence structure. So you got the question mark, sentence structure. You can also use word choice for this, eagerly. So she's excited to hear about the idea that Jenny was spotted with a man. Now, bear in mind, it might not seem like a big deal now, but this is about, some years back. This is in the past. So if you were seen like with a man at this point, what she's implying basically is that Jenny is like how can I say this for YouTube? It's a three-letter word that begins with H, yeah. So she's saying that she's basically judging Jenny. Yeah, she's saying that she's not a good person. Yeah, I'll put it that way. She's not a good person, and she is like looking down on her and basically saying, "Look at Jenny. Yeah, she's out and she's with like different guys here and there, yeah, whatever, like that. Yeah, so she's basically trying to put her down. Yeah, that's the idea. Okay, then what they go on to say, so that's the first way they put her down. So they question, in a sense, her sort of her goodness, or her like her virtue or something like that. Yeah. Okay, then after that, what they do is they go ahead and they start to make fun of her based on how she looks. Yeah. So they then go on to say, what a sight. If you'd seen her, you wouldn't wonder basically that no man wants her. So pretty mean, yeah, pretty cruel stuff. She's saying that no man wants her, basically, yeah. No man wants her because of how she looks. So very mean, yeah. So, and the reason again why they're doing this, and here what you could do is sentence structure, a right mess, that's a word choice. Okay. Then the reason why they're doing this is because, again, if you read this, she's too smart for her own good. So so the reason they're doing this is because they disagree with her decision to try to make something of herself. Yeah, they disagree with her idea that she's not bound to poverty, that she's not like limited by the way that she was born, but she can actually do something. Yeah, the fact that she doesn't make excuses, but she's gone out to try to make something of herself. So they find this like a strange concept, which obviously is strange for broke people. Yeah, no disrespect to anyone who's starting out broke, but for the people who want to stay broke, this is the kind of philosophy they have. Yeah, so you can make money or you can make excuses, yeah, but you can't make both. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't born with a silver spoon. You know what I'm saying, man? So anyway, the point is, so they're looking down on her, and to sort of justify their own reasons for failing, they're justify like why they haven't accomplished a lot. They want to pull her down. Yeah, that's the idea, and they do it based on questioning how good of a person she is, and also questioning the way she looks. Okay, excuse me. Which you'll notice is also very similar to like what people would do today, especially if they're trying to like put like a girl down. They'll question two things. They'll call her a certain type of word, and then on top of that, they'll probably call her like ugly or something. Yeah, no man wants you, and then also at the same time that you're very loose, yeah, which is a contradiction. But anyway, you get the point. Okay, now finally, yeah. Okay, so this is the last part of the extract. Finally, you see the love of Maggie, and you see the relationship between Maggie and Jenny. So even though they're not talking, uh, Maggie loves her daughter and loves her family regardless. Again, this goes back to her. So Maggie is probably, out of all of them, Maggie's probably the best character in terms of character, although she does have her downside, which is basically that she refuses to see reality. So, and she refuses to look at things for what they are. Excuse me. So even though Jenny is left home, etc., she still loves her completely. And also we see the theme of broken family, the fact that Jenny had to leave home. And we see we see that Jenny has left home. Again, we see the theme of like flawed men, and I say men in quotation marks, yeah, flawed men. Basically her father, she leaves home because her dad tries to like tries to be controlling and what do you call it, overly sort of bossy and stuff, without doing the other things that a father should do, yeah, without providing or without being there, etc., etc., etc. You get the point, yeah? Okay, so now in terms of the quotes you can take, so Maggie, so this showing Maggie's love for Jenny. Word choice, fondly, meaning with sort of love or with a smile on her face. She says that Jenny she's paid for different things. So Jenny's gone ahead and she's given money to the family. So already Jenny is doing a better job than these different other family members, yeah, especially the men in the family. So Jenny has started paying for things. And she says also that she dreams about Jenny. And she basically wishes that she'll come home, yeah? So again, you can use word choice, fondly, or sentence structure with the comma. Comma makes you pause and highlights whatever comes before that. So the fact that she started to pay for things, it means that Maggie is very proud of her, basically, yeah, that's the idea. Okay, and then finally, theme of broken relationship, also showing Maggie's sadness. You've got this here basically saying that no matter what happens, so no matter the way that they make her sad, like Alec, for example, or like Jenny leaving the house, she'll still love them. So again, Maggie's sort of character, Maggie's love for her family, unconditional love. You can think of it that way, yeah. Okay, so again, this part of the extract shows Maggie's unconditional love, the relationship between her and Jenny, and also it shows the flawed men in the text, or the broken relationship in terms of the family, as Jenny has had to leave home because of what she's sort of experienced, yeah. Okay. So that is the extract. Okay, now to make things a bit simple for you, what you can think of is what we just did there, okay, is like a sort of explanation. Get my head in this. So there's that was a sort of explanation for each little part of the extract, yeah? So again, if you didn't catch it all, just rewind it and watch it again, yeah? Okay, but now what I want to do is I want to simplify things for you, and I want to tell you that what the two sort of main themes in the text are, okay? So the two main themes, one is the theme of poverty. Okay, so you should write this down, yeah? So one is the theme of poverty, and this is for the 10 mark, and also this is like information for the text overall. So your first critical theme is theme of poverty, okay? And you can go ahead and write this down as well. So there's two sort of ways that we see this, okay? Two ways that this sort of manifests itself. One is that the family has difficult living conditions and they experience daily struggle, which would be like Bertie being sick due to the living conditions, and and he can't come home yet, or it's taken him a long time to come home. It'd be like they don't have enough food to eat on some days, and they need the donations from Lily, etc., etc., etc. You get the point, yeah? So basically, the struggles of being in poverty. Okay, now the second sort of side to this, excuse me, the second side to this is that the family members, is that the family stays poor because many of the family members, especially the men, so especially John and especially Alec, they make excuses for their weakness and their laziness as opposed to finding a way out of poverty in the same way that Jenny does, yeah? So I'm gonna give you the quotes for this that you can use. and you can use these quotes for the 10 mark, yeah. And the quotes that I'm going to give you, they're not from the extract, so you can use them for the second part, i.e. for the second part, yeah. So the 6 quotes that are from elsewhere, yes, yeah? So you can use them for that. Okay, so okay, good. So basically, first part again, they experience a lot of struggle due to poverty. Second part, and this is key, this is very key. John and Alec especially, they make a lot of excuses for the reasons why they're poor. So, and this is essentially what keeps them poor, yeah? This is what keeps the family poor. And it's the reason why Maggie has to take up all of the extra work and why she has to basically, what do you call it? And how she gets taken advantage of, essentially, yeah? Okay, now what this leads us to is the second main theme up here. So you should write this down as well. Okay, so second main theme is that the theme of broken family, or the theme of damaged relationships. Yeah, so the family is broken. That's essentially the second theme. Yeah, the theme of broken family, which is all about how the relationships are damaged. Okay, now this kind of flows on from the first one, and basically what the main reason for the family being broken is that the men in the family, and again I put it in quote marks, yeah, because I don't really look at them as men, yeah. So the men are weak, insecure, and dependent on the women, especially Maggie. Okay, so weak and insecure. So essentially they try to act the part. Yeah, they try to take on the sort of role of head of the house. They want to give commands. They want to be respected as like the head of the house. Like you'll see John in the text giving commands, telling people you're not going to do this, you're not going to do that. Alec does the same thing with his mother, in terms of how he sort of gives her an angry look. And in other cases, you'll see the same thing, yeah. But the what do you call it? The reason it causes conflict is because they don't do any of the work, yeah. So they want the position without the work. So they want the position, but they refuse to get a job. They refuse to go look for work. They refuse to take on any responsibility, which means all of it falls onto Maggie and the other woman. Excuse me, which leads to conflict, yeah? Leads to conflict. Okay, good. So you should write this down. All right, and you should also write this down also. Okay, good. Okay, now what I have for you also is the sort of main conflicts, right? So this is the main ways that the relationships are broken, that the family is broken, okay? So just very quickly, you have John and Maggie. Their relationship is damaged because, again, he makes a lot of excuses for his failings. He makes a lot of excuses for why he can't get a job, for why he can't make any money. And at the same time, he wants to be the boss. He tries to tell her what to do, etc., etc., etc. He kicks Jenny out the house, etc., etc. Okay, and then Maggie eventually explodes at the end, yeah, which you see. Okay, next, John and Jenny. Jenny is the daughter, obviously, and John is her dad. He attempts to control her, again, like I said before, without doing the other things that a father should, which leads to her leaving home. Okay, and then you have Alec and Isa, which is an interesting kind of relationship. So Alec with his mother is like a bully, yeah, and he takes advantage of her. But Alec with Isa gets bullied, yeah, essentially. So she uses him, takes advantage of his insecurities and learned helplessness. I should be learned helplessness. So what you could do is also write all of this down because it will be a great insight for you in terms of your notes. So his learned helplessness, learned basically from watching his father, John. Okay, so he's looked at his dad, John, how he treats his mom, Maggie, and he's seen that the man doesn't really do work. It's the woman who works for him, etc., etc., etc. And now the only difference is, so with his mom, he acts that way, but with Isa, she won't allow him to act that way. So she instead flips it on him, and she takes advantage of the fact that Alec isn't very self-confident in terms of his manhood, etc. Well, no wonder, because he doesn't have a job or anything in it. So she takes advantage of that. She like puts him down. She manipulates him manipulates him, etc., etc. Yeah, she gaslights him, etc., etc. Okay, so he's still desperate to be with her, and he is what you guys would call a major simp. Yeah. Okay. Now, finally, you have Alec and Maggie. And again, like I said, this is Alec and his mother. So he treats her extremely disrespectfully, and he tries to copy his dad, trying to be the man without doing the work. Excuse me, without doing the work to earn it. Okay, so broken relationships and poverty. All right, now very quickly, finally, what I have for you guys is quotes for each of these. Quotes, don't come on. Who else is gonna do this for you? Come on. So what I've got for you guys is quotes for each little section. Okay, so these are all from Maggie. All these are from Maggie. These are all said by Maggie. Yeah. So basically, whoever's in the title, they say the quotes. Yeah. So again, all these show that no one helps Maggie. They don't help her, but they take advantage of what she does. They spend her money, and at the same time, they try to be like her boss, etc., etc. Okay, and then you got John, and you see him making excuses, so it's bad luck, meaning it's not his fault. Excuse me, it's not his fault. There's a depression on, so again, it's not his fault. Do you not understand? So he tries to flip it on to Maggie. Now, in some type of way, she's wrong for asking him to go get a job, even though she is working 2 jobs. So, yeah, okay. And then clearly, so clearly, the last one is it's not my fault. I've been out looking for work, always looking, never succeeding, meaning he's not really looking. He's just, I don't know. He doesn't want to be, I don't know. What's that word? Doesn't want to be judged yet, basically. Okay, then you have Jenny, and she is sort of the hero in the text. So she has the positive philosophy. She doesn't accept her situation or her circumstances. Instead, she says, "I just because I was born here doesn't mean I've got to stay here. So basically, I can make something of myself, and I can make something of my life." Yeah. Okay. And then you have Alec and Isa. Alec and Isa. So this is Alec talking. Isa, I'll get you. I'll have plenty again. You'll see. I'll get you anything you want. I promise. If you'll stay with me, how weak is this, man? Listen, if you consider yourself my student, don't ever let me catch you acting like this, yeah. Acting like a damn simp. Come on, man. So 2 ways not to act, yeah. Never be like this, yeah, like a simp. And also never be like this. Where is it? Like this, making excuses and not taking responsibility for your life, yeah. Be like Jenny. Take responsibility and make something happen, yeah. Okay, anyway, Alec and Maggie, finally, there's the last 2 quotes. So again, don't be like this, yeah. I was tired. What's the use? There's no jobs. Lame, yeah. Lame with a capital L. Big lame. Okay, so you get the point, yeah. So those are the quotes, and again, I'll pin this in the comments for you. And that's the breakdown of the extract. So let me know if you have any questions. Excuse me. And yeah, don't make excuses for yourself in it. Remember, you can make excuses or you can make money, but you can't make both yet. You know what I'm saying? All right. Take care. Bye.